Hey guys, so I hope you're having a great day. Today's Monday. Obviously, today is going to be the day that Frank and company are going to have their quarterly results and the conference call. I believe it's at 10 o'clock Eastern time today. I'm going to try and catch that to watch it. I'm going to be at work, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to do that. But we'll see if we can get a hold of that somehow. And then just wanted to update you guys on my numbers here. I told you guys yesterday in the video that I did on Hive that the numbers I think aren't as accurate as they possibly could be because we're not going by quarters, we're going by basically a monthly thing. So here, let me explain what I'm doing here. I'm surprised you guys didn't call me out on this, so let's take a look. All right, so here's the old model that I was using, right? I was using all the data for the miners, the price and the hash rate, and I was using that to calculate what the possible total income would be for the year. Well, this is a little bit flawed because we're using like 12 months here at the price of 48,164, but they weren't mining at that price for that whole year, right? They're mining it at different quarters and in different price ranges. So in the settings, I've now added settings for all the different quarters. So we got January through March, and I put in basically the start of the Bitcoin network hash rate, the end, and either whether it was a high or low in there. I put that in there to get an average for the hash rate, and I also put in the price of where Bitcoin basically was at the end of that quarter. So I did this for all the quarters here. So when I did this, I worked on this yesterday for about 4 hours or so. I was watching a Bears game yesterday. So this is the updated version of that sheet. It still has all the miners, obviously, but now we're breaking it down by quarter and trying to match it up with what actually Hive or some of the other companies have mined. The other ones I still have to do. I just did Hive yesterday. But I got obviously Hut 8, Marathon, Riot, and Bitfarms to do to get them updated to this new format. And I believe this is going to be a lot more accurate. And here's why. Because now we're pulling in the data for the month as far as what the hash rate was for that month, the average, what the closing price was for the quarter on Bitcoin. So then we can get a better feel for where things are going to be in the coming quarters. And here's why. So now we're only calculating 3 months, for the miners, and then for GPU, for the Ethereum, and for Bitcoin miners, and we're basically trying to match what they reported as far as their earnings were for those periods. So, right, Q4 was around 33.4 million. Q1 was around 37.2. I think it was actually 37.3, right? Don't quote me on that one, but I believe it's right around there. So we're looking at these numbers here. So we know these are going to be fixed numbers. These are not going to change after they've already been done. They're not going to be changing at all as far as what the price at which they're being mined. So I think this is going to be a lot more accurate going forward. So if we look at it here, so now for the second quarter, which just started which is July through September, we have some data available to us that they provided on SEDAR, the website, through their disclosure that they're mining, there's X amount of Bitcoin miners and X amount of Ethereum miners as well. And we're putting that information into it here. So I still have to work on this a little bit to make it a little bit easier for you guys to tell. But let's see if we can fit it all in here. So we're saying that they're going to have, let's see here. 3 months of basically from July to September of mining these miners here, which they reported. I also included that in the video yesterday, as well as these miners here and the green ones as well. And then these red ones, it looks like they're going to be shutting those off because those are the weaker ones. Those are the 30,000 terahash and the 17,000 terahash, the old miners. So it looks like they're going to be closing those off. And then if they just put in the miners when they're supposed to be in, like June, September, and all that. But based on the numbers that they provided yesterday, this looks like it's matching up pretty well. I'm not sure exactly as far as how many months these have been mining, but they're going to be mining for about a month or two. Some of them will be obviously 3 months. We're just using 3 months as an example here. So based on that information, it looks like we're looking at for Q2, possibly, which ended just this past week, right? Because that's from July to September. We're in October now. So that data looks like they will be mining around 58 million.3 if they're mining those for the 3 months. Obviously, some miners could have been only for a month or two. We don't know exactly, but I'm guessing that it's going to be roughly around 58 million. It could be a low of 50 million or something like that. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Obviously, we had 37 million, but here's the reason why. Because Bitcoin at the closing price on June was 33,000. We are now at about 48,164 for the closing price. So that's a huge difference. That's almost $15,000 difference in price in Bitcoin alone. That's why I think the price for Q2 is going to be a lot higher as far as the revenue goes. So EPS per share gross would be around 15 cents. And then actual, I think it looks like we're having a 50% from the gross. So we're looking at maybe 7 cents a share here based on this information. And then if we look at it here, we're looking at if all the miners get installed that they're saying that are supposed to get installed, you know, when they're supposed to be mined for the quarter. And then as long as Bitcoin stays at around the price it is now, around 49,000, I think it's a little bit less. It's like 48 something. It's down a little bit. But when I did this, it was 49,000. And then all the miners get installed when they said they were going to come in, which we don't know for sure, but let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. Everything gets installed. We're looking at a quarter of possibly 92 million, and that also depends highly on Ethereum basically staying where it's at right now with the same price of 1583 per miner being mined. And price obviously could go up, so that could obviously change as well. That could get us up to maybe even above 100. Well, maybe not. It'll get us close to maybe 95 million, possibly, if the price of Ethereum goes up as well. If Bitcoin goes up as well, then that is going to change. So here's the way I'm forecasting it. Oh, let me see here. Make these a little bit bigger so they can fit in. And then, so basically what I'm doing now is I'm taking all the quarters, Q1 or Q4, Q1, possibly Q2 now, and then what my estimates are for Q4 or Q3 on them. So we have current quarter BTC pricing, right, which is at 49,000. Then we're doing 2X's, and here's the big difference part of it. Current quarter earnings, right? So we're saying, let me make sure this is right. Current quarter estimates, so this is for Q3, right? We don't know exactly what Q2 is going to be like, but we're pretty sure it's going to be right around there. Q2, but where we're taking the last 3 quarters, so we're taking the last 3 quarters that we know of, which we don't know yet Q2, but we're taking the 33 million, the 37 million, and possibly the 58 million, and then we'll make those basically static. The only thing that's going to change on here is the last quarter, which is going to be this quarter here at 92 million currently popping up if all the miners get installed. Obviously, this is not financial advice. Do your own homework, do your own research. But here's where I came up with, and I think this is a better model. So based on that, we're looking at the last 3 quarters are coming up to be 129 million, right? The 37, the 33, the 37, and the 50, what was that, 58 million? We're getting 129 million for the 3 quarters. And then we're basically adding the 4th quarter onto it, right? Here, which is the 92 million possible. And then we're using that number as, we're using that quarter to change depending on if Bitcoin price goes up 2x, 3x in that quarter, in this quarter basically. So now if Bitcoin goes up to 2x, we're looking at BTC being around 98,000. That would give us, for the current quarter, which would be the Q3 quarter, it could possibly make approximately 184 million just in that quarter alone. If Bitcoin goes up 3x, we're looking at 276 million. And 4x, we're looking at 369 million. So the combined totals would be for the 3 quarters plus the Q3 quarter would be 221 million, 313 million, 405 million, 498 million. And then we're cutting it 50% down the line, right? Just being very conservative. So net income could be for the year. If Bitcoin price just stays where it's at right now, we're looking at 110 million for the year. Net income, if 2x is it's going to be 156 million. 3x is going to be 202 million, and then 4x will be 249 million, with an EPS of 29, 841, 53, 65. Price to earnings multiple of 20. We're looking at a stock price of 576, 815, 1055, 1295, and then obviously if they improve their margins for net income, we're looking at possibly at 75%, up to 75%. We're looking at a stock price of 863 at the current price. Bitcoin goes up 2x in this last quarter. We're looking at 23, and then 3x would be 1583, and 4x would be 1943. So this is the updated results. Here are the old results here. You can see that there is a difference in it, and I think that the new numbers are more accurate. Based on that, let me see here. So we're looking at, with the old numbers, we were at 486, 972, 1459, and 1945 at just a 50% discount on it, right? Now we're at 576, 815, 1055, 1295. Obviously they're lower. But I think they're more accurate. I think the old way that I was doing it was just not as accurate. We were counting all the months that were being mined at the same price, but they're not. They're different prices that, each quarter is being mined at. So in order to correct that, I had to do this where it's basically per quarter, and then we can kind of estimate as far as what the last quarter could be, or the last 2 quarters, and see where we can possibly be with those numbers. So I think this is a far better way of going. I'm going to update the other ones as well going forward. But obviously, this is going to be much more accurate and a better prediction as far as where pricing could be. So we're looking at between basically 576 and 863, 815 and 1223, 1055, 1558 or 1583, and 1295 and 1943. So obviously, I'm going to be interested to hear what Frank and company have to say on their conference call. And then we look at Bitcoin really quick here. Bitcoin it's starting a new week this week. We've seen it close for the week with a green candle, which is good. I mean, obviously, we were way down for the week last week. We were at almost 40,000, and then we obviously pushed all the way back up to almost 49,000. So that's a huge gain in price for the week. And then today we're starting a little bit lower. We're at 47,543. So something to be mindful of. Ethereum is also down a little bit today, and it is battling the line right here, which is now our kind of support line at 3,300 roughly. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. But yeah, I think the way I've done it now is a lot more accurate. Let me know what you guys think. Obviously, I want to know your input. I think this is going to be more accurate going forward. We're going to be able to price it out better. And then I'll update the other miners as well during the next week or so when I have time. I mean, this obviously takes a long time to get all the data switched over for quarters and looking back at the other quarters and trying to figure everything else out. So I'll provide you guys with updates when those happen, or when those are going to go live. So look forward to the conference call today with Frank, and we'll see where things are going. And I think that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Let me know what you guys think of this, obviously, and then we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.